Bitcoin rallies to $80,000 and currently is getting rejected. We're gonna have a look into that, guys, because we have seen yesterday a nice pump to $80,000. Yesterday I told you guys that we should expect $80,000 for Bitcoin since the indicators were looking extremely bullish, and of course a potential test of the resistance trend line was very likely after bouncing so hard at the support here. So now the big question is, of course, are we gonna see now another retest and maybe even a breakout to the upside, or are we gonna get another rejection and we come back down towards the support, which is currently at $76,000? We're gonna have a look into different time frames, guys, and also indicators. We're gonna have a look into the US dollar dominance and of course also into the liquidation heat map for Bitcoin. So make sure to be subscribed on this channel, guys. Thank you very much for your great support as always, and of course check out all links in the video description. Here you're gonna find the best exchanges, also including my own website hyper-swap.io, where you can get all the latest videos, exchange links, hardware wallets links, and so on, because with all of those links you get everywhere the maximum sign-up bonus and deposit bonuses, of course, as well. And currently on OKX, guys, there is a trading event also ongoing where you can also get an iPhone 17 Pro Max. So definitely trade on OKX. The link is in the video description if you're looking out for such a thing. And also if you need a crypto hardware wallet, currently on Rider 1 you get this 30% off. So a nice 30% discount if you order the Rider 1 wallet, and you will get a nice package with my link, because then you have activated basically the link to get also a nice recovery tag, a wireless charger, and so on, and of course a 30% discount. This is, in my opinion, one of the best crypto hardware wallets out there. I have also Elipal, for example. I also ordered this new edition that they have. And of course I have tons of Ledger wallets as well, but the Rider one is really the one that I like the most, and it's also one of the cheapest if you compare it to others with touch screen and wireless charging, Bluetooth function, and so on. It's also the easiest to use because you can make a backup phrase and on top of that also a recovery tag, so you can have both of it as a security, and this is a feature that no one else has. That's why for me Rider one is one of the best crypto hardware wallets. You can also get it with the link here in the video description, or just simply go to hyper-swap.io, and there of course you can find also the link here down here where it says hardware wallets, here the Rider 1 wallet link with this 30% discount. So we're gonna start here straight into the 4-hour time frame for Bitcoin, guys. Of course, everything in this video is no financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, just sharing with you my own opinions and market analysis. So Bitcoin in the 4-hour time frame had this nice pump, and you can see that also on the indicators we have seen basically since the buy signal down here at $75,000, Bitcoin just continuing to rally up. Also here in the 3-hour time frame you can see that we are going higher and higher, and the problem is right now, since we're getting now rejected at this important resistance trend line on the 4-hour and also daily time frame, so here we have a lot of resistance coming up at $80,000, we are of course seeing a first rejection, and that could be of course a sign that eventually we are coming back down to test again the support or even see a breakdown, because we have at the moment, in my opinion, quite overbought conditions in the immediate short term. And here in the 4-hour time frame, guys, we are getting some other problems. As you can see here, it's obvious that we have in the 4-hour time frame here higher highs. So in the 4-hour time frame, we created this higher high with the 4-hour closes. This one here at 77K, this one here at 79K. But if we go now over into the indicators, you can see that here in the RSI we have this high over here, which was created at 77K, and now a lower high at 79K. So this is the first drive of bearish divergence, and during the whole move here to the upside, it's not the first one, because also here we had 3 drives of bearish divergence. We had then another correction down to the support, but instead of crashing below, we had a bounce and continuation to the upside, and now again we are starting again to create bearish divergence. So this is, or those are of course signs that eventually the move is at least for the moment over, and we will correct down before we head higher, or of course also break down if the support wouldn't hold anymore. Because keep in mind that we had already a few fake outs to the upside here, and of course also to the downside. So at the moment it's quite choppy, the trading range, and also the signs whenever we are breaking out are at the moment not so clear, because we see a lot of fake outs at the moment. And if we go now over into the daily time frame, here it's getting very interesting, because you can see that finally we have, for the first time since the all-time high, daily closes above the 100 daily moving average at 73,000 at the moment. We have also the 20 daily moving average now here at 73K. So here we have a lot of support if somehow we would see a breakdown. And then of course also we have here the 50 daily moving average at 71K, and the bottom side of the candle channels at 69K, and so on. Also keep in mind that we have down here to $67,000 still some CME gaps lining up if somehow the Bitcoin price would get rejected and we would come back down. So currently Bitcoin here is having some problems on the daily time frame to push higher, but even if we come down, we have a lot of support below us at the moment. And if we are able to break through, because here on the lines chart, you can also see that we have here a clear resistance trend line. And if we're able to break through here at above $80,000, it's very likely that we're gonna test here the 200 daily moving average at $85,000. You can see that also this moving average here is coming rapidly lower and lower. And at some point, probably we're gonna test it. Doesn't matter what, because if it's coming down and the Bitcoin price is just consolidating, at some point here, of course, we're gonna have a decision point if we're gonna break out higher or if we're gonna see another dump. So that's why. Very interesting to see what happens next, especially if Bitcoin would break here the $80,000 level. Unfortunately, as I told you guys, on the daily time frame, we are looking extremely overbought. So we are in extreme conditions at the moment. On the daily, we also had the first sell signal. So that's why I'm not trusting too much, even if we would see here a test of the 200 daily moving average, that we're gonna see from now on just upside and that's it. Because the indicators are really looking a bit toppy on the daily, and a potential cool off would be very, very healthy now if we would see that. At least to cool off all indicators, maybe consolidate a little bit here and then have the beginning of a massive run up. So this is at least what I think will happen next, because if we don't see immediately here a break out above $80,000, a potential pullback is possible. And the lowest point here of this support trend line is at around $67,000. Of course, we can even go below it if we would see a breakout to the downside, because in theory, if we would see a breakout to the downside, this can take us again towards $57,000. I'm not expecting that yet, but just that you keep that in mind, what would be the worst case for now. And over on the weekly time frame, we have also to see what happens here in 3 days in 16 hours. Also here on the CME chart, which is closing tomorrow evening. As you can see, we are getting currently again problems here to push above the median line of the candle channels, like also here. So that's why if the weekly close is going to be again below, so below $77,800, then also here it's likely that we could eventually see a retest of the 9 weekly moving average, for example, at 70K or even lower than that, and still remain bullish. Because remember, the indicators, they just crossed now bullish. The RSI is coming very close to test the 50 level. So this move is just getting started. And on the 2-week time frame, we're still waiting for the confirmation bullish cross. Until this one is not happening, we still can come back down. That means we can still drop below, for example, $70,000 or even down to $60,000. Still possible, but we still should remain bullish and accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible, because most likely the low is in, or we are very, very close to the low. No financial advice, just my own opinions, guys. That's why I keep accumulating more Bitcoin. But right now, if you have completely no cash on the sideline, maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to also cash out a little bit if you did some profits on the way to the upside now, just to have some cash ready if we dump again, that you have some cash to buy in. If you have some cash on the sideline, then it's totally fine. Then in my opinion, no need to do any actions here, but of course it's up to you if you're trading the immediate short term or not. Me, I'm currently buying and selling over on OKX with the best trading fees. And also here, as long as you don't need, for example, to buy or sell your Bitcoin or stable coins, you can also put it here into earn. And then with the flexible earning system, you just keep accumulating some API, some passive income, basically a few percentages of your portfolio, just by keeping it here in your flexible, simple earn account. And then when you need it, you just immediately redeem it, and then you can immediately use it without lockup period, nothing. That is what I like about OKX very, very much. Also, of course, on some hardware wallets like Rider One, you can park your cryptos and get some interest as well. But on exchanges, of course, you always get a little bit more. So that's why, for me, Bitcoin, in my opinion, has reached a potential local high here. And now, based on the lower time frames, it is possible, of course, that we could see here a rejection, at least down to the support at 76K. And if this breaks, then, of course, you know the targets now. And vice versa, if we break out to the upside, then, of course, the 200 daily moving average will be tested. And now if we have a look into the US dollar dominance, if there we agree with what is going on here, this is the US dollar dominance. Let's have a look into the higher time frames. So here, for example, on the daily, you can also see that the US dollar dominance is kind of trapped in this channel, with also here a clear support and resistance. So currently also here we are in this channel, and the dominance could come again up towards the resistance here, because also here on the daily time frame we're getting some buy signals. But of course we can also dump down towards the support, which is also coinciding with the 200 daily moving average. And here you can see we are in an uptrend since we are above the 200 daily moving average, and here we are in a downtrend since we are below the 200 daily moving average. So as long as this is not broken, I still expect that at some point eventually we could come back down. And if this was, of course, a bull flag here for the US dollar dominance, then we should brace for impact, guys, because if this is a bull flag and at some point we're going to break out to the upside, then of course we can go to 10%, and that would mean that we're going to see another big crash in the crypto market. Hopefully this will not be the case, but just keep that in mind. What makes me believe that this is potentially not a bull flag is because of the weekly time frame here as well. You can see we had a sell signal, we had bearish divergences here, we're coming back down, and you can see that we're testing also here the median line of the calendar channels. If we see a weekly close below, then we're gonna come down towards the 200 weekly moving average or even lower than that. So this is also something that we have to keep an eye on, because here we are bearish on the US dollar dominance on the weekly, while on Bitcoin we are bullish. We have exactly the opposite. So you can see that here we are perfectly inverse correlated. And in the 2-week time frame as well, here also we have to wait and see what happens once we're crossing bearish here, because on the 2-week time frame, once we're breaking bearish here, then I expect that we will dump to much lower levels here, potentially to test this resistance trend line down here, because we were in this big falling wedge, and you can also see that whenever we were in such overbought condition, like here for example, here also we had a big crash to the median line of the calendar channels. And afterwards, you can see that we had another run up, but at the end, this resulted in a big downtrend. You can see that this was basically the top here probably as well. Here also big last final push to the upside, and then yeah, more or less. Not always it's 100% accurate. Of course, no indicator is like that, but you can estimate that most likely a bigger correction is incoming as every time that the 2-week time frame is having a bearish cross. And I think that we never have been so overbought like now, or at least just a few times in the past. For example, here, or also here, very much at the beginning. But here also every time we came more or less to the median line of the calendar channels, and afterwards we bottomed out and continued to rally. So that's why I have very mixed feelings at the moment, guys. We really have to wait for the next big breakout. But also for Bitcoin here on the 2-week time frame, we are looking good. We are just waiting for that bullish cross here, and then I think we can easily attack here the 90k area and probably higher levels. So interesting times ahead, guys. But as I told you, the lower time frames like the 4-hour and daily time frame are looking quite toppy. So a healthy correction would be really good in my opinion at this stage. And also looking at the stock market, it's very unstable at the moment in my opinion, because we are seeing every day opening up in big green, opening up in big red. All the time is changing. Also today, most likely they're gonna open up in red. Palantir, Big Bear AI. We have Nvidia in red, Microsoft in red. Probably also the crypto stocks like let's see, Coinbase also red, Marathon, Riot. MicroStrategy yesterday had a very interesting close, because we had here now some 4-hour closes above the resistance trend line on the 4-hour time frame. Here also money flow is increasing. Also, of course, also here we are quite overbought, and we could get very soon a sell signal. We are in extreme conditions up here. It's not often that we get to those levels, and in the past, even during a bull run, those signals like here for example, or here, ended up in a big dump afterwards. So that's why I think also here, if we come down, we can easily again retest the lows, because also here $119, we still have some gaps opened here. So let's see what the day is bringing, because also here we have now daily closes above the top side of the calendar channel. So also here a test of the 200 daily moving average at $240 is very likely incoming as well, guys. That's why I think overall we're looking really bullish. I think we have good chances. Also here on the weekly time frame, we had bullish divergences here, higher lows, but in the price action lower lows. So this bullish divergence now is perfectly playing out. And also here, most likely we're gonna see continuation towards $240 and probably even higher than that, because this was our previous, here you can see our previous lows, and they most likely are getting tested very soon, in my opinion. So we will see what happens today, guys. For the moment, I think a healthy correction would be nice. If not, then of course we're gonna see immediately continuation to the upside. So I salute you for now. Let me know where are you tuning in from, guys. Let me know in the comment section. Of course, be subscribed here. I keep you updated with daily videos about Bitcoin, altcoins, and so on. At the moment, I'm not touching the altcoins too much because if I'm expecting a pullback in the altcoins, there is no reason, of course, to buy some more altcoins. Only when I expect Bitcoin to rally hard, then of course I buy also altcoins. And now I'm keeping a very, very close eye into ORDI. I really hope that ORDI will fall down to $3 because I really want to get some ORDI coins here down at $3 because also this chart is looking, in my opinion, very, very nice. And here also we closed last week above the resistance trend line, which was at $3, and here we are about to cross bullish in extreme oversold condition. The last time that we did that, we also have seen a rally here. We have seen a rally into the resistance, but this time we are above the resistance. So that means that we have the chance maybe to repeat something like we did over here. That's why. If we get a pullback on Bitcoin, I think that those altcoins will also correct, and that could end up in a great buy opportunity, in my opinion. At least I'm gonna take this opportunity and then see what happens. For now, I salute you guys. Thank you very much for watching. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing today. As long as we are above $76,000, we have the chance to continue to go higher. If you would see again 4-hour closes below the support, but then also a couple of 4-hour closes below support, not like here with those two fake outs, then of course a potential pullback is starting down towards 70k, maybe even lower than that. And if not, we're gonna see most likely a retest of the 200 daily moving average at $85,000. So if you want to trade that, I would trade that over on OKX. I trade also here on Bybit, for example, Maxi Global, and so on. Everywhere you get the maximum sign-up bonuses anyway with my links, but OKX right now, my opinion, is having that great trading event, and also you can get an iPhone, and also here you anyway have the highest liquidity, especially if you trade altcoins, and also you have here a lot of tools that you can use to trade with. So all links, of course, here in the video description. So thank you for watching, guys. Stay tuned, and we're gonna see us all in the next one. Bye for now.